Hi, John Dwyer here from the Institute of Wow. Let me tell you about two butchers. Okay, I used to live in a little country town in Gloucester, which happens to be the northern end of the Hunter Valley in New South Wales, Australia. And this little country town only had 5,000 or 6,000 population, and there were two butchers in town. One butcher decided that it was best to keep the air conditioning inside and make sure that he was comfortable, and whoever came into the store was comfortable as well. So he used to close his door. And if you weren't sure that he was open, there's every chance in the world that you would walk past and think that he was closed. On the other side of the road, directly opposite him, was an entrepreneurial butcher who had his door open all the time. Now, he had that special air conditioning machine that blows cold air down really at a high pressure level, so that the hot air didn't get into the shop. So it was almost as good as if you'd closed your door, but it was much better from a marketing point of view because his door was open. And guess what else this other butcher did? This other butcher had a sausage sizzle outside his butcher shop, okay, just about every day. And at that particular period of my life, our children were relatively small. Where do you think my kids forced my wife to go and get the, every second or third day, the meat supply from? You guessed it, the butcher who had his door open and who had a sausage, I can't say it, sausage sizzle. I'm not going to say that again because I can't say it. Who had a barbecue outside the store. Now, he had his little snags and he'd cook them up, and my kids, and not just my kids, but just about everybody else who lived in town who had children, were pretty much forced by pester power. Mum, we want to go to that butcher shop because we get a free snag. Rest is history, okay? Who won the war of that butcher war? Obviously the butcher who was entrepreneurial and had the sausage sizzle, I got it, okay, outside his butcher shop. Now, I want to show you a little clip here of something that brought this whole story back to me only just recently. I was at a shopping centre on the Gold Coast and came across a pretty entrepreneurial butcher. He had a similar thing outside his store. He had a marquee, and he announced just to everyone that was walking past what was happening and what sort of specials he had on that day. Let me just play it for you now and you can have a look for yourself.
While you're in store grabbing the ham steaks, don't forget about the veal T-bones. Absolutely delicious, super tender at $17.99 a kilo, sliced in trays. Absolutely great, marinated on the barbecue. We've also got... Okay,
so pretty entrepreneurial, isn't he? Simple as that. It's as simple as that. Now, there was another butcher. How far away from this guy would he be? He was across the road. He would probably be a few hundred yards away. But guess what? There was hardly anyone in his store. Now, you think about it. He who makes the most noise normally gets noticed quickest, okay? And this particular butcher was certainly making some noise, but he was having fun with it as well. He had the marquee outside his butcher shop, and he was cooking, sausages, and he was cooking all sorts of other little bits and pieces that people were taking as nibblies as they walked past. But of course, guess what? As they tasted these little samplings, there was probably, I don't know, I stood there for a little while whilst I was taking that video. I reckon 1 out of every 2 people went into the butcher shop and bought something. So it's a great wow factor attraction. And I know that you may not be a butcher shop, but the outtake from this, okay, the thing that I want you to take away from this is that how can you distinguish your business from your competitors? Now, this happens to be bricks and mortar business, okay? You may be online. The same thing applies. The same thing applies. How do you make your homepage of your website so different and so unique from your competitors that nobody's going to look elsewhere? And one of the tactics that you could use to make sure your homepage is unique and very different from anyone else is positioning yourself as the expert of your industry and providing something free on that homepage. For example, a free report or a free video or free download of some sort of dossier or what have you. But the fact of the matter is that you need to make sure, online or offline, that you are looking very different from your competitors, and have some fun. Do you think that butcher who I've just shown you the video of is having lots of fun? Of course he is. And by the way, I don't think that butcher was actually standing there with the microphone for the whole 8 hours throughout that day. I think there might have been a taped recording happening. So when you do that sort of stuff, of course, just be sensible about it, make it easy, work smarter, not harder. But anyway, I'll leave you with that. The takeouts again are, make sure that you are very different from your competitors by using a wow factor, okay, and have some fun.